Journalists in the country have been fighting in reporting the story of the people without being attacked, interrogated and detained by the law and policy established. Is Malaysia, our so-called democratic country, being fair to the people, especially in the journalism industry? "46 Journalism Colloquium" got a chance to do an exclusive interview with Tan Sri Johan Jaafar, one of the most prominent figures in the Malaysian journalism industry. He is the recipient of Tokoh Wartawan Negara or National Journalist Award 2018 by the Malaysian Press Institute. He started his career back then in 1988 in the Institute of Language and Literature as a researcher and later led the magazine division that has produced numerous award-winning literature work. Later on, he was given the trust to lead Utusan Melayu as the chief editor, and from this moment on, he has ventured himself in the journalism and media industry. With this, he is taking us back to the background of press democracy in Malaysia and how it has started to crumble.
From my perspective, from my view, it was in 1961. It was in 1961 when UMNO decided to take control of the editorial of Utusan Melayu. That was in 1961. But of course, the reporters, the journalists at that point of time protested, and there was so much against it because they believed that if that happened, that would be the end of freedom freedom of the press. So as the result of that, what they did was there was this mogok. There was a strike. They call it mogok Utusan Melayu, which lasted for 90 days. And of course, they did not succeed, and basically UMNO took over Utusan Melayu. And from my view, my perspective is that that was the end of press freedom in that sense.
Even with the end of press democracy in Malaysia since the 1960s, after almost 50 years, Tan Sri Johan Jaafar seems relieved with the turning point of the press democracy in Malaysia, especially on the people and readers' acceptance.
I think 2018 was a turning point. Yeah, what happened in the general election 14 was actually a turning point in how media behaved themselves. You see, prior to that, many of the mainstream publication was very pro UMNO and very pro Barisan Nasional, and then they realized that you see, so much so that when the people decided to overthrow the government that has been in power for the last 60 years, and not only that, they realized that the publication that has been kata orang tu being very supportive of Barisan Nasional. For instance, Utusan was a classic case. Utusan was first published in 1939, and after 2018, the readers of Utusan punished Utusan by not buying the newspaper because they believe that Utusan has not been fair. So they punish Utusan by not buying Utusan.
Even with the fresh air on the press democracy here in Malaysia, in terms in law restrictions towards media, it seems that it has not been progressive accordingly with the changes. To put into context, according to the World Press Freedom Index by Reporters Without Borders, Malaysia ranked low compared to any other developed and developing countries, especially in pointing out the law established over the media needs a fresh one. As someone respectable in the industry, Tan Sri Johan Jaafar has also agreed the same concern, especially with the limitation on the press. Even he demanded so, he argued that there is still a need to restrict the full accessibility of press freedom, especially to the journalists and future media practitioners to be responsible in their reporting.
I always argue the fact that yes, we need press freedom, but freedom with responsibility. You see, the notion of free press, this has always been argued by everyone that we need a free press because in a democracy, basically that is the prerequisite of a functioning, of a vital, of a vibrant democracy. Freedom of expression is protected, is guaranteed by the Constitution. It is in the Article 10 of the Malaysian Constitution. So basically, we are fully aware that there is the right for every Malaysian to speak up their mind, to be free. But of course, there is always a limitation to freedom of expression. How do you define freedom of expression? So in our context, probably we are guided by certain principle. We can say that we have a free press, but a press with responsibility, freedom with responsibility, because ours is a multiracial, multicultural, multi-religious country. So basically, whatever that we do, we are governed and we are guided by the understanding that we have to understand the sensitivity of other people.
In the end, it is undeniable that the journalist's responsibility to report nothing but the truth. But if there's a limitation, why don't we just fight for it?